and welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Praise and I'm here with my sister
Joy.
Yes, so we're very happy you clicked back into our channel, and we're going to be continuing our discussion from our last video, which was sexual molestation in teens, how they're exposed to how they're exposed to sexual molestation. Today we're going to go further into the consequences, the effects, what does it do to teenagers. But actually, sexual molestation happens to all ages. I'm going to say all ages, but specifically, you know, people that especially children and teenagers, because they're the most vulnerable. So, and that leads on into...
For the sake of this video, we're talking about between the ages of 11 to 19. So we're going to continue with those ages for now, but like she said, it happens to anyone. It could be at any age. So, but for specifically, we're just going to be talking about 11 to 19.
Yes. Okay, so what's the first
effect? I think it will be depression. Yeah, so depression usually it's actually a mental disorder. So it involves having like a depressed mood, you're unhappy, you're just sad basically, you feel hopeless about life. And for someone who has been sexually molested or is even being sexually molested, there's a high chance that they will be depressed most of the time, if not all the time. They won't feel like getting out of bed, they won't feel like hanging out with friends or family. They just kind of keep to themselves. You know, they're quiet, they just feel down every single day. And it's usually
suicidal too.
Yes, and it usually lasts for a long period of time. And especially if they don't get therapy, they just continue being depressed. And sometimes the family might think that, okay, maybe the child is just acting out or they're just keeping their distance. But when they're being sexually molested, you just tend to keep to themselves. They just feel tired all the time. They feel sad. They don't want to do anything.
Mentally drained. Yes. Physically drained. Always, maybe even always afraid because the molester lives with them. Or the molester is, you know, always lurking around the corner.
And if they've spoken to someone and nothing has been done about it, you know, and it just continuously happens, they just fall into that depressed state. And it's hard to get someone to not be depressed. You can't just speak to them about it. The situation has to change and they have to get therapy. And it's something that will be cured over a long period of time.
That's even if they're believed. You're going to get therapy if the adults in your life, you know, believe that you're being abused and take it seriously. If not, people just live with abuse, and you know, people those ages, they can't even afford therapy. Sometimes they don't even know what they need.
Exactly.
You know, so it's
they don't even know they're depressed.
They don't even know they're depressed.
Most times people have to be diagnosed. They have to being taken to a professional. They're diagnosed with depression and then put on pills
PTSD.
And therapy. Yes, it's a very traumatic thing. It's very traumatic.
Yeah.
So depression is definitely one of those effects.
I think the next thing is dissociation. So like people who are abused, teenagers, young children, dissociate from you know the outer world, dissociate from people. They disconnect themselves mentally from people. They want to have surface relationships with people because they've lost trust in people, especially because the abusers are usually those, you know, like I said, that are very close to them. It's usually never a stranger. It's somebody you know, the friend of a friend, a father, a mother, a cousin, or uncle,
a pastor, a teacher, a grandfather, a grandmother. It's usually people that are very, very close to you that you wouldn't even expect would ever do this thing to you. You would think they would protect you, and they're the ones that are abusing you. So it now makes you, it makes you distrust people around you because the person you trusted the most has hurt you in this way that you never thought anyone would.
So like you don't want to form deep relationships with people. You don't even trust your own family. You want to stay in your own box. You don't really want to have friends because you even feel ashamed about what's happening to you. Maybe the people you've told even blame you. You even blame yourself. You are disgusted with yourself that this is happening to you. When you're abused, when someone has sex with you, forcefully touches you inappropriately in private areas of your body, you feel disgusted with yourself. You feel disgusted by the person.
Blame yourself that maybe you led them on, you did something that
and you feel like you look disgusted. disgusting to other people as well. You feel like nobody wants to be with you. You just carry this dark cloud around you because of what somebody is doing to you. And you know, so is loss of trust in people, loss of trust in people in general. You don't even want to tell people because the people you've told have shut you down, made you look like you are crazy.
Or you're just lying or making things up to
Yeah.
just cause chaos and confusion in the family, or you know, in general.
Yeah. You know, I know of a lady that said her own immediate family, when they found out she was being abused, they stuck by her. But it was the extended family, like the grandmom, the auntie, the uncle. They were against, you know, her family for sticking up to her.
Yeah.
You know, they thought she was crazy. She was just making things up.
Because it was a member of the family who actually did it to her. So
Like,
I
how
think they
dare-
just wanted to
how dare
separate
they?
themselves from her, and they didn't want to cause like a division in the family or
That's
want to address
disgusting.
it. They don't even want to bring it out to the open and address it because
I
it's
think
like
we
an abomination. Like,
You know
okay,
what?
this person was actually doing this to you and they're a family member, and they just want to.
I think we should
sweep
do
it
a
under the
separate
carpet.
videos to address the abusers. How about that? if we do a video addressing abusers, you better believe I'm going to eat you up. Eat you up. So anyway, yeah, so loss of trust, anger issues as well.
Self-harm as
yes,
well.
yes.
Like self-harm involves actually physically harming yourselves. It could be burning yourself or cutting yourself. I know people who have cut themselves. They want to bring that, maybe the mental pain or the inner pain they're feeling to
I think
actually
it's
bring it out. Like yeah, they want
bring
to
attention to themselves.
yeah,
Like something is happening
it's
to
usually
me.
a cry for help. You
Yeah.
know? They're self-harming, they're cutting, even alcohol abuse too is a form of self-harm because you're
Yeah.
harming yourself internally. Just is because of the situation you're going through. It's a way of coping with the situation.
Yeah.
Because it's a very traumatic thing to go through, and especially if you're continuously going through it. I know someone. You remember the one we heard of the story where she actually he went through abuse for 9 years, 9 whole years, and his mom was actually in the house, and he was going through that abuse from the age of 5 up to 14, 15. You know, and someone like that will obviously be self-harming because it's been going on for a very long period
They
of
begin
time.
to rebel.
Yes.
You know, like teenagers, younger children who are abused begin to rebel. They act out. Like men in general tend to lash out their feelings, like fighting physically, or you know, some people become serial killers. I'm not saying there's an excuse. So women think, oh, it's my fault. I wish my boobs weren't so big. I wish my butt wasn't so out there. They try to cover themselves because they feel like they're being abused because the abuser is seeing all these physical traits on them, so they hate
And that's
themselves
what attracts
for
the
having this
abuser to
kind of body, this type of build. They
Yeah.
become so insecure.
Yeah, that's why it's important as parents to address it, because your son maybe they may not be saying anything to you, or they've said something to you and you just sweep it under the carpet, and then they're harming other people because of it. You know, maybe they harm, if it's a woman that did it or a man, they go out there and start harming other people, or even just emotionally harming, may not
Or
even
they
be
become
physically.
even rapists themselves. They become rapists.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of so many stories where because they were abused, they want to give back that pain to people. Like they want to abuse others back. I'm not saying there's an excuse, but there's no smoke without fire. You know, women tend to blame themselves. Young children, teenagers, they rebel, and I think there's no way you're living with an abused person that you don't have an inclination as an adult. There is no way.
Yes.
You can have a dream about the person being abused.
Yes, or you can even see the character change in the child.
Yeah,
you know,
like-
and it's a sign. And you know, in the case of the child that was being abused from 5 to like 14, he said his mom was in the house, and his mom was afraid of his abuser as well. I don't know if
And
the
the
abuser
mom
was
was
his
also getting abused.
stepfather,
So-
and maybe the person is also helping them financially. You know, and they don't want to address it because they don't want to lose maybe the roof over their head if they're staying in the person's house, or they don't want to lose like the food out of their mouth because maybe the person is just paying for everything in general, so they just kind of brush it off. But this child is
That's
I mean,
wicked. That's just
you
wicked.
can't just sweep something so because this is a pedophile.
Do you know how many?
Imagine abusing a child.
Do you know how many adults are suffering from the consequences of being sexually abused
At a young age?
When there's sexual abuse, you know, there's going to also be physical abuse, because if you're resisting your abuser, they're going to physically want to dominate and overpower you to get their way with you. So there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse. There's just not one type of abuse happening to someone. There's emotional abuse where they're threatening you, manipulating you, lying to the people that are supposed to protect you. And you as a younger person, there are times you cannot even provide proof of the abuse, you know, because you're being threatened. You're being your abuser will say, oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to stop paying your bills. I'm going to
kill your family. So much that goes into this thing. The mental, physical abuse, the psychological.
They know that they have been absent in their children's life, or they knew about this very negligent, absolutely ignorant of the abuse. And when the child is acting out, being angry, they now decide that, oh, you're so stubborn, you don't listen to me, you don't do what I say.
They might even take that
I
to
didn't
pastor
raise you
to
this
be
way.
prayed upon, like, okay, they are, and then maybe the pastor is even the abuser.
Oh,
you not take that to the pastor, the same pastor that is abusing them, to pray for them. That okay, because I've heard of stories of girls that have been taken to pastors, even boys taken to pastors, and then being prayed upon that okay, they have a back, they have a this,
they need
and
to
then
be
the child will
delivered.
tell the parents that they don't want to go back there, and it's because they are being abused. And then the child will say, the parents will say, you're possessed, because how exactly
especially
is this
if
person molesting you? He's a man
African,
of God.
like, you know, traditional African parents that believe so much in pastors. I know of a girl, she went, as a teenager, her mom believed that she was, being rebellious, she was like stubborn, so they sent her alone to be delivered by a pastor, and this pastor was touching her breast, and she ran back home to tell her mom, and her mom sent her back there. That is this rebellion, is this, this stubbornness, that's why she's coming back to the house, that she has to go back. And so she went back and just sat in the abuse. Because if your own mother cannot protect you, it's crazy. So those are the consequences: depression, dissociation, anger, self-harming, alcohol abuse, rebellion. All those things are consequences of being abused, the effect. And it's so sad because people, just take your life, your youth, your joy away from you just for sexual gratification.